Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. I hope you all are safe home. First of all, I would like to reveal an offer that MAGNiTT is offering exclusively for the participants of this webinar. MAGNiTT is featuring during the next week 7 different startups on our daily newsletter for free. And the way to do that, I'll share the link how to apply for this offer, etc., on the chat now, and we'll follow it up in the email. So back to our webinar. On today's webinar, we have an awesome guest. He's a growth marketing guru. Nelio will join us in a bit. Let me ask him to open his video and let's
And
discuss
here we are.
marketing. Hi, Nelio.
Hi, how's it going?
Awesome. How are you doing?
Thank you very much for having me, Roy. It's a pleasure.
It's awesome having you here. You're one of the guys that we love to look at what he worked in, what are his content basically. So let me just give a quick brief about your background. Nelio is the founder and CEO of Urban Monks. Before that, he's an ex-Kareem. He was the director of brand at Kareem, one of the first 30 employees there. And then now he owns his business, his growth marketing business. Cool.
Exactly.
Awesome. Let's start with the general questions. I'm a marketeer. I can see all our graphs going down. All the curves are going down. Nothing is working now. What's your perception? What's happening from a growth marketing perspective during this crisis, during the corona?
Oh my God, it's a doomsday. It's like the apocalypse. I've got many clients there as well. So Urban Monks is a growth marketing agency. We help like different clients from all around the world, from Mexico, Denmark, Dubai, Saudi. So we have like pretty much clients everywhere, and we're seeing this impacting pretty much all across the board. We generally focus on B2B and B2C. So on the B2C side, things are getting really nasty, meaning that we witness like 50% of tanking in terms of growth, whereas B2B, especially in the SaaS business, like things are growing really fast. And then now what we see is that the last month and a half, it started like really flattening out. So B2B flattens out, B2C tanking big times. So it's really something. Like never seen anything like this, to be honest.
Yeah, but you know, the good side of it is that what we're doing as startups since the beginning, now you can see the traditional players coming along.
Yeah, definitely. And this is actually a super, it's a super interesting insight, because basically what my perspective is, and I think it's the perspective of pretty much everyone working in VC, startup ecosystem, tech ecosystem, is that this virus is simply accelerating trends that were already there, and that most of like some people like the tech community, etc., they were already pretty aware of, and they were already using it for a long time. But now it's like all the late majority is pretty much adapting. So think of it like retail. Now they need to have like a clear D2C strategy. Companies, traditional companies, they need to have a perspective on what remote works need. So, it's like pushing big times everyone to adopt all these technologies and all the things that we actually used before in the tech community. Now it's going to be widespread. And when we're going to get out past the critical period, these things are going to stay, and they're going to stay for everyone. So it's going to be like when we open that door, it's going to be very interesting.
But do you think it's a good part for startups, or giants like corporates will just take over this place, and how can we survive as startups in this thing?
So as startups, what's very important right now, like all crisis, and I've been geeking out a lot because I've been like reading a lot of articles, etc., trying to stay informed to really understand as well what to tell my own clients and to tell myself, where basically it's like riding pretty much like a wave. So if you ride it on the wrong angle, you get wiped out. If you ride it well, then you have like the surf session of your life. So the guys right now that are riding the wave the right way are all, I mean, it's a bit of luck because like it's industry specific, right? So for companies like Zoom, so you see Zoom like going up 800%, whereas the Dow Jones is tanking by 33%. I mean, this is never seen before. Another company like Loom is seeing like a major uptick that is like, it's pretty impressive. And also takes Facebook Live. So Facebook Live, and I was talking to my friends at Facebook, and basically what they were telling me is that their engagement rates and their increase in engaged live audiences has like increased by 70% overnight, pretty much. So that means that, you know, there's a very important principle right now that everyone out there, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a startup, that you can use right now is like a very specific behavioral psychological principle to start instilling habits in your users. So there's a behavioral psychological principle that says that to develop a habit, you need 21 days, and then to break a habit, you need pretty much 3 times to 5 times that. To start smoking, you'll probably take like what, 1 week to start getting addicted to
the nicotine and the habit and everything, yeah.
And then it's going to take you like probably 20 years to stop. So, and now it's exactly the same thing. So if now you have a startup, right now it's the moment to ask yourself like a very important question, which is, how do I get my existing customers or my target audience or my prospects or whatever that is to develop a habit, where a specific habit where basically I'm like my company, my brand, my product is at the center of that habit. And this is what Facebook Live is doing. And you know, yeah,
so basically, no problem. So basically, it's not just looking at the quick wins, looking at what can we now achieve. It's like surviving and coming out as a winner from this whole situation, this whole chaos. Like just surviving this situation and doing what we can do. Like now we're locked. We have this 21 days. We can create habit to our audience base, right? So we don't have this luxury usually. We don't have like 21 days to be home, easy, just infuse whatever we need.
Yeah, no, but it's super interesting, you know, because in this context, what you basically need to really look for, you need to look for soft conversions. So and I'm going to tell you, like, basically across the market, what we see in terms of performance marketing and media buying, it's super simple, it's super clear. CAC, so cost of acquisition, like a cost to acquire a user, now has gone up by 50%. Same thing, cost per order. So either you're like SaaS or you're an e-commerce, pretty much went up by 50%. Meaning what? Meaning that if yesterday, in order to acquire you as a user, as a paying user, I would have to pay $1 in marketing. Now I have to pay $1 plus 50% of it today. So now, but the thing is, and that's where the good news is pretty much the CPM, which is the cost per mil, which is pretty much like a KPI that is used to measure the impressions.
Yeah.
Down by 30%. So that tells you clearly that for you to push content out there, it's pretty easy. But if you're pushing content with the expectation optimized for conversion, you're going to suffer big times. And this tells you another thing that is super important, is that everybody, including myself, I'll just be very honest, we're all in browsing. We're not into like, oh, let me buy this happy bunny there that costs like $200. No, everybody's clinging to cash. So right now, the psychological behavior is very clear, and it's like people are just browsing. So you need to make sure, if you have a business, if you have like even a small business, a startup, or if you're a solopreneur, all you need to do right now is to make sure that your brand is browsable. And by that, it means that it goes in front of your audience. You need to make sure you're there, but you're not selling, you're entertaining. So you're not asking anything. You're just going for a soft conversion.
And as long as you have the CPM going down 30%, we don't have an option now. If the mindset of our audience, everyone, the mindset of everyone now is not in selling mode, is not in buying mode. So let's take advantage of this CPM going low and let's expose our brand. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, and I've never seen, honestly, a market condition where CPM goes down by 30%. Like, it's pretty unique. It's like you're making a very good deal if right now you're pushing something that is not meant to sell, but it's meant to entertain, to help, to assist, and to really help people going through this rough time. So if I were like right now, and this is what I'm doing with my own business, and this is what I recommend everybody out there to do, is like, really ask yourself this big question: how can I be in front of my users every day in a very subtle but entertaining way, and to make sure that I serve a purpose, that I give first, that I'm useful for them to go through the store.
But if you take it from a business perspective, if I'm putting that much effort, I'm just putting my time, I'm investing my effort, my time, my team's effort, it's money. What's the return here?
Yeah. So, and that goes to the second tip that I generally like, that I manage to focus on, to collect. So basically, if you think about it, by you being in front of your user, you are building assets while others businesses are panicking. What do you mean by asset? In marketing, the only asset you can really build, to be honest, this one thing is audiences. Once you have your own audiences and you have your own traffic and you own that traffic, meaning that you have farmed that audience and that audience is yours, meaning you have a direct response relationship with that audience, you've built a marketing asset. That marketing asset can be then reused in multiple ways. But let me really like clarify what I mean by audience. So audience is anything that is like a targeted contact list. So now if you give me like the email of every person in Dubai, I don't really care. Like, I need, of course, like a targeted contact list that makes sense for my business. If I'm selling male shoes, I don't care if I have like a list of like 70,000 women. So I need to build, like, this is the marketing asset, targeted contact list. So in a form of email, so increase your email database, in a form of phone numbers, in a form of Facebook followers, Instagram followers, TikTok followers, LinkedIn followers, whatever that is, make sure that you build that asset. And this actually brings me then to the long-term value, because once we're going to get out of the storm, you can use that asset as a seed audience for performance marketing, and you can start selling to that audience, because that audience, believe me, if for 21 days they saw you and you've been helpful for 21 days or more, and they've seen you every day, they're going to be in a habit to see you, and they're not going to be a cold audience anymore. They're going to be a warm audience. And selling to a warm audience, it's much, much, much easier and much more cost effective than selling to cold audience. And I'll tell you, like, in history of marketing in general, what really costed always a lot of money, and that's why Coca-Cola, they're spending in like the super big ads in the Super Bowl and whatever, it's like turning a cold audience, so like branding, turning a cold audience into a warm, hot audience. So what all these big brands are always doing, they're keeping the audience always warm, and that's where they're putting dollars.
And that's, by the way, that's the hardest part, like bringing people from outside the funnel to the funnel, and then walk them through the funnel.
And then down the funnel. So right now, you cannot go for the ask. And this is a generic, then it depends on case to case specific, because I'm right now working with startups that are in blockchain, and they do digital transformation to pretty much, basically they do digital transformation to blockchain, and they're seeing like an uptick, like no other. So, you know, it depends on industry. It's really very industry specific, but in general, right now, if I have like a B2C company, I would not go for the ask. I would not go for the sell. I would go for like we're here, we entertain you, we keep that audience warm, and we increase that warm audience day by day.
100%. Yeah. And the other thing is that we discussed earlier the Facebook thing. Like now Facebook are creating new products just current, that are related to the current situation, and they are opportunistic. And this is not something wrong, like to create new propositions, new products, new offers that are related to the current situation, and that you're gonna keep like your brand on top of mind for everyone, for your audience, create new audience, etc.
Totally. And it's really interesting that you're mentioning, because even right now we're on Facebook Live. So what I'm just saying is that when they're seeing this uptick of 70%, now Facebook, what they're doing, and that's why it's like a very smart company, is because they're iterating the product while this uptick of usage is going up. So as a matter of fact, what they're doing now, I don't know if it was already existing before, but now they're really doubling down on that. It's basically, they are developing a feature that it's in beta in different markets, where basically you can start paying people live. So let's say if someone is liking this show, I would be like, or if I'm a fitness professional or a singer or whatever, then I would say, hey guys, thank you very much for being there. You are 200 participants. Please give me $10 each.
Yeah, a tip jar.
Exactly, or whatever. If I have 2 million followers, then it's gonna be even, like, you see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that they're really iterating the product to increase the feature based on the feedback they're getting from the usage. So, and most companies should do the same. This is like really the high tempo testing kind of mentality. But you know, if I could, yeah, tell me.
Sorry, I just wanted to go back to the keep your business top of mind, to create content relevant to what's happening now. But again, how to create, like, can I create content that is cost effective, that is not like, I don't want to promote it too much, I don't want to boost it too much, etc. What can I do with this like statico that I'm living in now as a startup, as a company?
So, and this actually joins another, like, a very important point that every entrepreneur and every startup and every business out there should be focusing on right now, is how to manage churn. So if churn is not your obsession right now, you're wrong, because now we talk about top of the funnel and how to like keep, like, you know, increase that warm audience and whatever. But like, if you don't stop the bleeding, because now most companies are probably like, they're all churning, like they're all seeing a very high number of churn. If you don't stop the bleeding, you'll be like out of blood in no time, and a shut up business. Like, so the big focus, if you have two focuses right now, it's don't go for user acquisition, go for brand top of the funnel, keep that up, increase warm audiences, so that then you can retarget them later, and you're going to over index and convert them at cheaper cost. The biggest priority should be churn. Stop the bleeding. And how do you do that? Go on the bottom of your funnel, check your automated emails. I'll be even more pushy on that. Like, and that's what I'm telling as well, my like the clients who work with, is like, call 20 VIP customers every single day, because you need to use now your customers as if it's like your community, as if you're managing a community. Even if it's not going to directly relate to sales right now, call them, understand their problem, because then, and that's going to join the question that you just made before on how to create relevant content that scales and that gets distributed and that gets traction, is that based on the insights, based on all the calls that you're going to have with your clients right now, and understanding where they're struggling and understanding all the stuff, you're going to see patterns. Based on those patterns, take those patterns, the insights of those patterns, and build content around them and push it to a similar audience. Because you'll see that pretty much everybody has in your audience will probably all have pretty much the same problems. So it's going to be more relevant. People are going to relate more to it. You're going to be more top of mind. And that's how you can pretty much bring the top funnel and the bottom of the funnel more compact.
Yeah. So
that you stop the bleeding, and as a byproduct, you build more relevant content.
And again, when you stop the bleeding, you can survive this, you can survive this crisis and then multiply your acquisitions, or but to survive, you need to stop this bleeding just to maintain your clients.
Yeah, right now you should be like 100% focused on churn, and then as a byproduct of that churn, build insights to build super relevant top of the mind content that doesn't sell, just entertains.
Cool. I have one last question, and then I'll open the floor for the participants. What do you think, like, what will marketing look like after this chaos? What will marketing look like after COVID-19?
So it's a very, very interesting question. I think marketing, the way it should look for everyone out there, all the entrepreneurs, etc. As I said, if you are riding the hurricane, and I love this expression, then you'll have assets. And by assets, I mean marketing assets. I mean like a lot of audiences that are warm, that are optimized, that are really well structured to then start hitting them with the ask. The more you can delay the ask, the better it is, because the more you keep the warm of the audience and the relevance. But that's how your marketing should actually look like. Your marketing should, after the storm, if you've done things correctly, and if this advice applies to your scenario, then that's what you would have. And the outcome is very simple. You should have CSV file with first name, last name, email, phone number, Instagram account, Facebook account, blah, blah, blah.
That's the win. That's the pragmatic win that you have.
That's like the actual outcome that entrepreneurs that are building assets right now are going to have after the storm.
Cool, awesome. First, I want to just retell everyone that we're offering the next week the sponsorship of our daily newsletter, which is usually paid for, just to support startups, to try and like give them super exposure. We're offering it for free for 7 startups. I have the link shared in the chat. Just if you want, just apply there, and we're happy to just feature you. Cool. So let's go to questions. Karim is asking, would you focus more on retention, acquisition, or both in the CPM campaign?
So again, so for CPM, I wouldn't. So honestly, when it comes to retention, what I really would focus on is just direct response marketing. Don't use performance for retention right now. The idea for retention is that if you're spending performance marketing dollars for retention, it's like right now you can do a little bit, but you don't have to, because you already own that traffic. Unless you go for lookalike audiences, that pretty much expands, but then you go again in acquisition mode. So right now, it's not the time to acquire customers. Now it's time to build audiences. So to acquire for a soft ask, soft conversion, meaning email, like first name, last name, email, phone number.
Awesome. Okay, Rafa is asking, is the game now about growth or sustainability?
Very good question. I think right now, the game for most of the business out there is to survive. So sustainability, I guess that's what you meant. Survive because you need to stop the bleeding. Meaning one thing that is very important right now, if you don't stop bleeding cash, and if you don't stop the churn, like the future is not going to look very bright.
And again, that's why it's about how you control your degrowth code. Now 90% of the businesses are in a degrowth mode or in a static mode. So it's how you control it rather than looking at growth now.
And that's actually a very good question, because even there was a recent study that just said that even in the value proposition of businesses over the last month and a half, it changed completely. And the most effective value proposition was more about saving costs rather than making you richer or giving you added feature or giving you added value. Now it's not like the economy of like more, it's over. Now it's like, okay, less growth as much as possible. And even when you're talking to customers, now the speech is like, how can we save you from crashing?
Yep. Okay, what about B2B businesses? How to increase warm clients now?
Content marketing. So as I was telling you before, Roy, I always dedicate one full day per week. In general, it's like a Wednesday, to just build content. And by content, I mean really bespoke content. That's why it takes a full day of and that's why I do it, not my team. Because It needs to be super relevant to the audience. You need to talk to your audience. You need to really understand what insights makes them tick. And I dedicate 1 day of the week. So just to show you how critical this is for the survival of my business. And it's not something that I started doing now. I started doing like a year ago. So what I'm saying is that for B2B, content, content, content.
And creating content, you need to be in the zone creating content.
Yeah.
Just because content is critical. Like you can't like create random content.
It has to be not content marketing like, hey, 10 tips to make your startup happy again. No, it's like, okay, how do we build like a 10 steps guide to build a data-driven model for buyer persona? I don't know. This is what I'm working on right now with Growth Mentor.
By the way, guys, someone is asking how to work with Nelio. I'll be sharing after the webinar Nelio's email, and on top of the chat, Nelio shared his email, his LinkedIn. I'll be super happy if you can work with the guys, Nelio. I fully trust you.
Awesome.
By the way, in line with that, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. You guys can hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active there. Maybe too much, but yeah, I'm super active on LinkedIn. You guys can WhatsApp me if you have any sort of question. You don't need to pay anything at all to, just like, chat. Any question you guys have, like, Nelio, I'm stuck with this. How should I do this? Like, what should I do in this case? Like, please, please, please. I'm like, I'm not gonna charge anything. I swear. Like, if you just like text me, we'll just have honestly like an honest conversation, and I'll try to see if I can help you and me or the team in any ways.
Look, in line with the advice you are giving right now, what's your recommendation to startups that may send an offer to MAGNiTT so that we can promote them? What kind of tips you can give them? What kind of messaging to promote, etc.?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I don't think I got it.
Again, the offer we're now giving to startups to be featured the next 7 days for free on MAGNiTT daily newsletters.
Okay.
What kind of advice do you give them? What to feature? What to promote? Like promote a product now, promote a service, or I don't know what.
So right now, again, what you should be promoting, it's probably like if I were like a startup, etc., I would promote an initiative. An initiative. Don't jump on. Okay, wait. Let me rephrase, because I don't want you to jump on the COVID-19. We're here to. No. Add really value to the ecosystem, because the ecosystem, it's gonna go through like a very deep transformation. There's gonna be a lot of your colleagues, a lot of your friends in the ecosystem that I'm not gonna have a startup anymore after this. So provide value as much as possible and use MAGNiTT as a magnifier to really help, because like when the boat is sinking, it's good to be featured and to get more business out of it, but you're gonna be even better seen if you use MAGNiTT as a catalyzer to really help out the way you can.
Cool.
And probably another thing I would do, another way that I would do, I would definitely also look for partnerships. So if I could use right now, if I have my startup and I could use MAGNiTT for free to amplify my message, I would be, hey guys, like this is my startup, this is what we do, and we're looking for partners to help our customer base go through this COVID-19 in the best possible way. Once you do this partnership right now, they're not expensive because we're all in the same boat. And people, like you're not gonna go, like, I know that entrepreneurs are pretty insular. Like, and I do this mistake all the time. I think like everybody tends to like create their own silo. But now if you can partner up with, even with your competitors eventually, to really help your end customer, man, this is like, it works every time, and it's not just like a tactical thing. It's really because you're spreading good vibes across the ecosystem.
And again, you don't have a lot of options to do now. You need to help your audience and ask for the return in the later stage. It's not now.
Sure, because imagine what is the alternative? Hey, I'm featured by MAGNiTT. Take my service 80% off. Like, like you just make a quick, but you're not riding the hurricane the way you should. You're just like being reactive.
Again, sorry guys, a lot of questions are coming. I'm trying to ask Nelio all the questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Where would you place ad budgets for awareness and follower growth for the next 2 months? And another question is basically, should we focus on organic or should we pay to reach new audience now?
Amazing question. So organic or paid, both. So focus on organic as much as you can. So organic, start from organic, because paid without like a strong organic base, it's just like paid is a multiplier. So if your content is if your content is like bad, and excuse my French, okay, but if your content is bad, you can boost it as much as you want. It's not going to go viral. Like, it's never going to pick up. Why? Because it doesn't fill a need of your target audience. It's not relevant. They don't care. You're just going to shovel it down their throat to the point where they're going to hate you. So don't boost so focus on organic, have like a super strong organic strategy in the next 3-4 days. Organic. How do we build an organic, super relevant content on the audience? Talk to your customers, gather insight, build that organic engine, then you boost it. Then you don't even need to use it as an acquisition ad. You can just boost and drive followers to your page. And then the beauty of it is that if you increase your followers now, that is cheaper to get those followers now. When we get out of the storm, you can use the followers of your Instagram page as a seed audience for performance marketing. Is that clear?
Yeah, I don't know. For me it is. But you benefit now from this drop in the CPM. Like, benefit from this 30% drop, and then after the storm, you can use this as your seed product to build on, seed audience to build on. I guess, Claudio, your question is answered, right? This is how you do organic instead of spending on.
So I'll give you a clear example that now I can share with you guys. Like, when we were at Washman, we were stuck in a situation where we were launching like a lot of ads, and these ads were not performing to the extent that at some point we were like, man, this thing doesn't work. Like, Facebook doesn't work for us. Facebook doesn't work for us. We grew the company by 7x with Instagram stories, by 7x. So what I'm just saying is that Facebook doesn't work, or Instagram doesn't work if it's done wrong. But then because before we were stuck in that mind space that, okay, let's build an ad, and that ad needs to, like, it's performance marketing. But the problem is, like, your ads are competing with content. Like, your ads are not competing with your competitor. Your ads are competing for attention. And that attention competes like to like with content. You'll go from beautiful sunset, your mom with your dog, your girlfriend or boyfriend, and then boom, an ad. So imagine if that ad is like just a shutterstock of a person selling you clean clothes. What we did, we built content first, and then we used it as ads.
So the starting point is to build content, original content, clean content that can differentiate your brand.
Yeah, and in a format that then works as an ad as well. So for Instagram, it would be 15 seconds with a clear value proposition, with a clear message value proposition. And what you need to do, you need to be very creative and play around the USP and the value prop of your business. You need to entertain. You need to package your USP and your value prop with entertainment. This is what the name of the game now.
And a question related to that. Do you think that offering a discount now to your customer is worth it in this situation? Or we can consider it as bleeding like in your funnel, like you're bleeding your original customer base, etc.
I mean, think about it, right? Probably most of the startups here, their next round is not secured. So you need to finance that price cut. How are you going to finance it? So cling to cash. I'm not saying then it's case specific. I'm not sure this applies to everyone, but as a generic rule, I would not go the discounted route, because honestly, like, I mean, you could to some extent to get a discount to just, stimulate consumption and whatever, but it's not a healthy way of doing it. So I would say yes, do it, but use it as your last
resort. Yeah.
resort because you're killing your brand. So what I'm saying is that you should strengthen your brand during the storm so that when you go out of it, you're stronger. What you're saying here by cutting 50% off, you're killing your brand. So if you're doing something plus 10 here and you're doing 50% here, then at the end of the day, it's like minus 40.
Right. Tariq is asking, as a VC supporting startups that are now having growth run, e-commerce, health tech, video conference platforms, etc. What is the best way to support or advise them? What's your advice for what's your advice for startups that are having a growth run now? Like they're doing very well now.
Yeah, well, in that case, you don't have any issues. So I've been speaking with my friends from Yanzo, and pretty much these guys, they're just growing by 60%. Like, you know, and they're getting partnership with like Maastricht Bank, and you know, they're living the time of their life. And I have like another startup that I'm working with, EduChain, where basically it's a blockchain startup that is digitalizing all the institution paperwork. That, like, you know, if you're in that business, in that vertical, man, now it's time, you know, now it's time to run as fast as possible, because you need to capitalize on this current that you're just being lucky. So just like be grateful and be grateful and build on top of it. So even more, double down and try to, you know, to like not bleed cash as much as you can. Just like don't go in mode, oh, we're winning. And so that's pretty much it.
Yes. Makbul is asking, is it wise to look in providing value in this time rather than profit? Yes, this is the whole thing that we're discussing. Give back, give first now. Don't expect direct returns now. Wait, survive, and then you get your returns later.
So Makbul, let me put it in simple way. Right now, it's time to give, to provide value, not to take value. That's it.
I'm currently seeing results from Insta influencers posting about our products. What do you think about influential marketing, etc.?
You're talking about micro influencers or big influencers?
I don't know. It is Makbul also. Makbul, what are you talking about? Micro influencers or the big influencers? And what do you think? Now is it a good time to like invest in marketing with influencers, with big influencers? Micro influencers now are better, in my opinion, are doing way better because it's a smaller, wider.
Like if now you can have micro influencer, I think that, as I said, like micro influencer, this is pure a CPM game, meaning that you're not looking for like a direct conversion. So yes, go if they don't cost you a lot of money. So macro, I mean, if you have good money and you have the relationship with them and blah blah blah, go with them. I mean, it's good. But like if you can get like micro influencers right now on board and you can really double down on them, this is the time, because this builds your top of the funnel. So it's basically you're gonna come out as advice and like an advice brand, as an entertainer instead of selling, because the influencer is not gonna be like, hey, buy now, or you know, it's like it's not gonna 50% off now, you know, whatever. It's like it's always like kind of entertainment and selling at the same time.
Okay, Mona is asking, what about freelance platforms? We are B2B. Do we
Hi,
go
Mona.
For do you know her? Hi, Mona.
Yeah.
Do we go for conversion targeted ads or awareness or what? Because most SMEs are keeping cash, which is our target. Most SMEs now are keeping cash, and we know it. So
yeah, so yeah, for freelancers platform, unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to answer, because I'd have to research the topic, because it's very specific. It's not something that I can come up with a marketing. I would have to see, like, I would really have to think about it.
Okay, sorry guys, and a lot of questions are being asked. I'll be sending a follow-up email with Nelio's email and my email in it. Reach out to us, with whatever question you have, we're happy to answer. One last thing, how do you see free webinars as way to warm your audience? How do you see free webinars?
Yeah, it's perfect. Like, I mean, look at now, we're like 186 people live. Then it's going to have the follow-up. So expect maybe like 250 people in total. Fair estimate. You know, it's like 250 people that connected with you, that spend time with you, that, you know, it's like and they're learning from you, and you're giving value, they're getting value, and you know.
And honestly,
I think
at MAGNiTT, we launched the MAGNiTT webinar series before all of this crisis, just to create good content, reliable content from experts like Nelio. We're trying to do that every week. I invite you guys to go to magnitt.com/webinars. Check out the webinars there. We're gonna have a recording of this webinar there. Check out the video. And thank you, Nelio. Sorry again, guys.
You're welcome.
A lot of questions are not answered yet. We're gonna answer
okay.
those.
You know, Roy. I mean, it's very easy. I left my WhatsApp number there. Just text me all your questions, and I'll definitely go through each one of them. I generally save like 1 to 2 hours in the evening where I reply to all the questions, so that, you know, we can just stay connected. I mean, I'm personally getting super bored of not seeing people. You know,
so we're doing virtual coffee now.
Exactly. So
awesome. Now Nelio will reshare his number on the chat tab. And again, startups benefit from what we're offering now. We're giving back. This is a full week, a 7-day week feature on the daily. The startup with their offer or their specific, what they're offering now on MAGNiTT, to MAGNiTT audience. So basically, again, check out the link. Submit your application there, and thanks a lot. We have a superb lineup coming the next week. We have Eli Habib from Anghami. We have Muhammad Shbib talking about hiring and firing, etc. We have Walid Fazza talking about valuation now for startups. So check out the webinar page on MAGNiTT and register your seat now. Thanks again, Nelio. Thanks everyone for attending. We'll see you soon. Thanks, Nelio.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Ciao.